Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about all things spray paint. This question came into me, and so I thought it would be a really helpful video to create because this person had never spray painted before and they wanted to know just how to even go about doing it. So there are definitely tips, techniques, things that you should do and things that you shouldn't do to spray paint the right way. There is a wrong way to do it and there is a right way to do it. We've been using spray paint for over 20 years and we, learned what not to do and what to do and what makes it easier and what to do to get the best result. So this $5 used to be, you could usually get 2 cans for $5, but it's around $5 now, depending on the brand and what you go through or what brand you use and what you choose. I'll kind of talk about that when we're showing you how to spray paint. You definitely don't want to buy the cheapest spray paint out there. It's just not going to give you good results, but I will talk about that when we are showing you kind of how to spray paint if you are a beginner, the things you shouldn't do, techniques and how to get the best results. So that's what this video is all about, and I hope you find it very helpful. In this video, we are just going to use this can of spray paint and just this random little board. Now, you can use spray paint on all kinds of things. It is a staple product that we use all the time. We have transformed metal, wood, just all kinds of things you can do with spray paint. There are different brands of spray paint, and you definitely don't want to get the cheapest spray paint because it's not great. We do love this brand. We grab this often, but we've used literally every brand that's out there. This is a good, middle of the road? How much would you say? How much is this?
They're like $5 a can.
It's about $5 a can. We used to get this at like $2.50. It would be 2 for $5, but they're like $5 a can. But for $5, you can change the look of whatever it is that you're doing. So if you are first, brand new to spray painting, how do you do it? So I wanted to just kind of go through. Matt's here to help me. He's going to show you just kind of he's going to do the actual spraying and all of that. And then we'll just kind of talk you through it. So first of all, like I said, we are going to do this wood board, or some of it, just to show you how to do it. You want to make sure whatever surface you are spray painting, that you have it fully cleaned. If it's wood, you want to sand it down. If it's metal with rust or something, you want to make sure that you sand down that rust. Anything else you would say?
Is there stickiness from the price tag?
Oh yeah, if there's a price tag on something, something,
stuff.
The leftover residue from the adhesive, you want to make sure that you get that fully off. Another thing, before you even start, you want a well-ventilated area, so we are outside. You should wear a mask, and I will put a link to my blog post that has our favorite masks linked and all of that in the description of this video. And then also you want to make sure you know the temperature outside. So if it's too cold, Matt, can you pull this off? If it is too cold outside, when you go to spray, it's almost like it'll gunk up here. It's almost like when it's too cold, the can's not going to function properly. If it's too hot, it may not, the paint may be runny or get too thin. So you definitely want optimal temperatures outside when you are spray painting. It's nothing you could do in the dead of winter if you're outside. And then I guess lastly, before we start and show you how to do it, I would say that you want to, what do I want to say? You want to tent it, or you want to be in an area where spray paint, you'll think that it's going, if you're spray painting right here, you'll think it's going, here and where you can see it, but it travels. So you definitely don't want to do it right next to your car or next to your house, or you will definitely see little splatters and little, spray paint. So again, you want to be in an area that doesn't have anything around it. Or if you are in an area that you can't do that, get a tent. They're inexpensive. You can get a spray paint tent for spraying paint. So I think, did I say basically everything?
You can also use a cardboard box for smaller things.
Small, yeah. So Matt will do that. He will put like cardboard boxes. Like if there was a little, something I got at a thrift store that I wanted to spray paint black, we can put it inside of a box, and that's going to give you kind of all the way around coverage. So your overspray is not going to get on anything. That was a good point. So if it's something small, definitely. You ready?
Sure.
Okay. So the first thing you want to do is shake the can.
See if you can hear it. You don't hear it at first. That means it's not ready.
See, when he's shaking it, you don't hear anything. Can you come this way? Is that what you want to hear?
Yeah, you want to make sure you hear that marble going.
You hear that marble, so then that means it's ready to go. When he initially started shaking it, you couldn't hear that at all. So it was not ready to go. And so when you spray paint, you want to make sure that you don't come. I kind of want to show them what happens if you go too close, far away, and then the overspray, like over.
So let's troubleshoot later.
Okay.
All right. I always do a spray right there just to make sure it's ready to go.
Not right. So he sprays off the thing to make sure that it's ready to go before he spray paints whatever he wants to.
And then when you start spray painting, you never actually want to start the spray or stop the spray on the actual thing you're painting. So start at the side, you're gonna go across, stop it, and then come back. You want to hold it about 10 inches away.
There's a little bit of a breeze right
Yeah.
here.
So
We just looked
I
at
might go
each
like
other.
8 inches, but hold about 8 inches, 8 to 12 inches apart away.
Okay, and I did want to say that. That's what I was going to say. You don't want a lot of breeze, especially if you're not in a tent or like a enclosed thing, because the wind is going to push it everywhere. So definitely not on a really windy day. We just got a breeze and we were both looking at each other. So, okay. So you see how he started away from it and he's stopping off of it. So he's not starting or stopping on on the board, the thing that we want spray painted.
Try to overlap it a little bit. You can see I did right there.
So you see what happens here if he does not overlap it, right? So when he says overlapping, obviously means, overlapping the layers of paint.
You just want to go in a steady and assume you're always going to do 2 coats because you'd rather
have more coverage than not.
Yes.
So,
well, you don't want to cover too much in just one.
So we're going to show you that and what happens with that too. So you would let this fully dry before you would put another coat on there. So you would want this to fully dry. And so I am going to have him now, he's grabbing something. I am going to have him show you what happens when you hold it too close. And another thing is, you saw what he was doing. He's in a continuous motion. So I know this is a board, but even if it's a small little figurine or something, you're spray painting, it's a continuous motion, back and forth. It's not just holding your spray paint can right at the thing. And we'll show you kind of what happens when that happens. Yeah, that's fine. Obviously you would not do this if this was a real piece, right? Because that's wet. You would not want to do that. So
if you're too close, right? Doing too close.
That's fine. So you see what happens there? It's all, you can see there's so much excess paint, and you see too that he just sprayed it on it. He didn't go over and back. So you've just got this really saturated look. The wood here on this, since it's brand new, it's going to soak it up a little bit better. But it's going to be too much paint, if that makes sense.
Yeah, if it wasn't laying down, it would actually make runs, so the paint would come down.
So if you had like a figurine, yeah, there we go. So if you were actually spray painting something, that was standing, that's what would happen. Okay. What else is something that you shouldn't do? Go ahead and set that down. So that was holding it too close and just right on the thing, like the continuous spray.
Or going too slow.
Yeah. You're going to get the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So when Matt was doing it, it's a continuous back and forth, motion, so that you're getting the best coverage. Another thing, so if that were to happen, you can go ahead and show them. If that were to happen and you get an excess like that, you could quickly pat it with a rag or whatever on wood. But if it were to dry and where you've got clumps of paint on something that might be plastic or glass or like a figurine, you would have to sand it, or like even on wood. So if he weren't to dab that and then he goes back and sees that there's clumps of paint or whatever, you could definitely sand this down. It's wood, it would be easy to do. It's a flat surface. But if this was something else like glass, plastic, or like, you know, that would be a lot harder. And that's just an extra step you're gonna have to do. So if you do these other things, you know, keeping it far away, you know, moving at a continuous pace, overlapping kind of your layers of paint, do a couple of coats, that will help. I forgot to mention, when you are buying spray paint, they have spray paint for everything now. Plastic, glass, mirrors, wood. I mean, there's just so much. They've got heat spray paint, like if you were spray painting like around a fireplace. Yeah, textured paint. Like, make sure you're getting exactly what you want. We always have a black spray paint and a white spray paint on hand, just because those are kind of, you know, those are what we use most often. Okay, is there anything else? Another thing I wanted to say, this was a good point that Matt said, we kind of stick, like if it's just kind of just the black, white, or another color, we stick with like one brand, because if this gets gunked up, and has that happened before? Yeah. You can take that right off, and then you can use that on, you know, another can of the same kind. You could probably do it with another, but we just kind of stay universal so we know for sure. Is there anything else about that you want to say? Do you think? Okay, I think that's everything we were going to show you. This is just a quick video to show you, if you've never spray painted before, just kind of the tips and tricks and what you should do to get the best result. As with everything, the more you do it, the better you'll get, the easier it'll get. And you'll realize too, once you start doing it and just making over simple things, you'll do it more and more, because it's one of the easiest things for $5. And this would do multiple projects, depending on the size, obviously. But for $5, you can change the look of a thrifted item or something you find, you know, at a yard sale or an estate sale, to look like something higher end for literally nothing. So it's a technique or a DIY project that you definitely want to learn how to do. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I will be sure to answer them. If you found this video helpful, share it. And as always, hit the subscribe button. I am uploading and launching new videos every week.